Hello Year 3, hello Whale Cast more specifically. I hope you've had an awesome day. Today we are reading Chapter 7 of The Royal Rabbits of London, The Great Diamond Chase. Ratsey HQ is situated at the top of the Shard, the tallest building in London. The tower rises into the sky like a giant needle piercing the clouds. And now Mavis was standing on the roof of the lift, waiting for an oblivious human to step inside and press the button so she could make her way to the very top. It wasn't long before a man in a suit with a briefcase strode in and did just that, little knowing that a fat, stinky rat was right above him. With a whoosh, the lift went up, stopping at 1 or 2 floors to let people in and out until it reached Mavis's destination, the top floor. She hopped onto the ledge and scaled a rope, the final few metres, to the gleaming offices of the paparazzi's London base, which was situated in the very highest point of the building, almost in the clouds. Out of breath and panting, because Ratsies are very unfit. They hate exercise even more than they hate healthy food. Mavis staggered into the hall. You may be surprised to learn that, although Ratsies like eating rotten food, the stinkier the better, their offices are not dirty and dingy like the places rats usually inhabit. That is because Ratsies are way more intelligent and far more dangerous than normal rats. So instead of rooting through rubbish and scuttling around the underground, they make the world an uglier place by spreading lies and hate on the internet. Rat Central is bright and clean, with vast shiny windows that look out over the whole of London. It is full of offices with desks and chairs and the most up-to-date computers, smartphones and laptops. Giant screens broadcast news from 1,000 channels and internet works run by paparazzi. Paparazzi himself has never visited the Shard. He communicates with his Ratsies by email and text. There is much debate among the Ratsies as to what paparazzi looks like. They imagine him to be a monstrously big and terrifyingly strong. If only they knew the truth, as we do, that he is a small, pink, ex-laboratory rat with no fur and big, bulging, cloudy purple eyes, who lives in a cage in a family home in California. Mavis was keen to keep the envelope she had been given in the alley to herself. She ignored the other Ratsies who tried to talk to her and scuttled furtively to her desk, which was right beside Flintskin's. Flintskin and Mavis sometimes worked together on assignments from paparazzi, but Mavis disliked Flintskin because he always had one eye on her, like an annoying classmate who tries to copy his neighbour in exams. He was just as mean and sneaky as Mavis and had 2 enormous front teeth that stuck out like a pair of tusks. Mavis plonked her big flabby bottom on her chair and pulled out the envelope. "What's that?" asked Flintskin, peering over her shoulder. Mavis grimaced. "Never you mind. Who gave it to you?" "If you don't mind your own business, I'll thump you," she snapped. Flintskin huffed crossly and turned his attention back to his laptop. "Here, have the rest of this," said Mavis, handing him the toughest, smelliest and mouldiest piece of tuna sandwich she had been saving for herself later. And there is a picture of them talking to one another. It was a small sacrifice to distract Flintskin, and it worked. He immediately forgot about the mysterious envelope and grabbed the sandwich, stuffing it into his mouth with relish and chewing greedily. He sighed and moaned, he gasped and he groaned. It was delicious. Ugh. Mavis tore open the envelope and pulled out a photograph. It was a picture of an enormous diamond in a glass cabinet. She instantly recognised it as the stolen Siberian diamond. But everyone knew about that. It'd been all over the news. She clicked her tongue and glared at it crossly. What was so interesting about a photograph of the diamond? There was literally hundreds of them on the internet already. Mavis was so furious her time had been wasted that she didn't take the trouble to look at it any more closely. Instead, she scowled. What was that creature thinking, giving her a silly old photograph that was no use at all? It didn't tell her who had the diamond or why they had stolen it. It told her nothing at all. Angrily, she tossed the photo into the bin and went to help herself to a fizzy drink out of the office grub cupboard. As she walked off, Flintskin stopped chewing and looked into the bin, glancing quickly in the direction of the grub cupboard to see if Mavis was coming back, and seeing that she was busily guzzling her fizzy drink and paying no attention to him at all, he cautiously put his sticky paw into the bin and pulled out the photograph. He placed it on his desk and looked at it closely. He saw the diamond and the glass cabinet like Mavis had, but then Flintskin noticed something else. The faint and unmistakable reflection of a white tiger in the glass. Flintskin's heart gave a leap. It leapt so hard it thumped against his rib cage like a piece of coal. This photograph was obviously important. He didn't know who the tiger was, but he was certain that Paparazzi would. This was his chance to get one up on Mavis and make the big Ratsy proud. His paws were shaking so much with excitement that he was barely able to type an email to Paparazzi. Hastily, he took a photo of the image and attached it to his email before pressing send. It didn't take long for a reply to come. There's the picture of Diamond. I can't see a reflection, but obviously he can. And this is the reply. Looks very different. Ha 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 ha! Well done, Flintskin. This is a real scoop. So Amura, the white Siberian tiger, has stolen the diamond. The fat cat. This proves that the Russians weren't behind the theft after all. But let's create some mayhem. Send that photograph to Minsky the Terrible at once. My intelligence has informed me that he is at the Russian embassy in Kensington. Let's see if he is as clever as you are. If he is, his minx might take the opportunity to steal into Tiger Towers and get the diamond for the President of Russia. Once it is back in Moscow, we will publish the news all over the internet. The Prime Minister will be furious. The King and Queen will be furious too. This might even lead to war between Russia and Britain. Won't that be awesome? You can see how diabolically the mind of Paparazzi worked. Flintskin wasted no time in emailing the photograph to the minx at the Russian embassy. Once he had done it, he was very pleased with himself, and, imagining the reward Paparazzi was going to give him, he stood on his chair and did the little war dance of the Ratsies, known as the driggle. He wiggled his wrinkly bottom and waved his long greasy hair in the air like a lasso. The other Ratsies stopped what they were doing and stared at him suspiciously. What was he so pleased about? Mavis was drawn away from the grub cupboard by the sound of Flintskin singing as he driggled. She made her way slowly to her desk. Flintskin was grinning at her, a grin so wide and happy that it put fear into her heart. She dropped her gaze to the bin. The empty bin. Where was the photograph? Then she saw it was on Flintskin's desk. She stared at Flintskin in alarm. What had she missed? She hadn't seen anything of interest in the photograph at all. But just as she was about to bash him with her claw, there came the soft lullaby music, Rockabye Baby, which was the sound of Paparazzi's incoming texts. The Ratsies turned their attention to the rolling hologram of words that now appeared in the air as if by magic. Flintskin has discovered who has the diamond. Well done, Flintskin. You will receive a big reward. There's a picture there. Mavis lunged at Flintskin, claws raised, teeth bared, but Flintskin was too quick for her. He leapt from desk to desk so that Mavis had to chase him, around the office. What made her crosser than anything was the way he paused every now and again to driggle just for her. Deep beneath the Russian embassy in Kensington, Minsky the Terrible was in the Baya, which is what the Russians call a bathhouse, sitting in a cloud of steam when he heard a ping on his smartphone. Normally, he would not have looked at his phone while in the Baya. The Baya is a place of relaxation, but since the Siberian diamond has been stolen, the Russian president has started fretting. What if the diamond was to fall into the wrong hands? This was Russia's chance to get it back. Minsky sensed the text might be important and thought he'd better take a look. Due to the warm steam, Minsky had felt very relaxed, but now he was agitated. He feared that he would be called into action because in his day there had been no mink more terrible than him. But he was old now, and his terrible days were over. However, in spite of that, he was undeniably a little tempted to get involved. He liked the idea of the glory of bringing the diamond home to Russia. But the truth was he was not in London for the diamond. He had long retired from working for the Kremlin and was in fact here for a prestigious judo competition. Being a competitive mink, he was determined his team could win. Should win. He was not happy at all that the diamond had been stolen at the very same moment that he and his team had come over to London to compete. It wasn't good for their concentration to be distracted by such drama. Reluctantly, he delved into the pocket of his dressing gown that hung on a hook on the wall and pulled out his phone. When he saw that there was an email from Rat Central, he opened it with interest. He looked at the photograph of the diamond attached to the email and immediately saw a grinning white tiger's face in the reflection of the glass cabinet. Minks have little eyes as sharp as needles, like their teeth. Well, 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 he mumbled in surprise. If it isn't our old friend Amura. Who'd have thought it? He clicked his paws, and the other minks, who were wallowing in the baths and sweating in the sweat rooms, stopped what they were doing and hastily gathered around. Get dressed, he ordered. We're not practicing judo this evening. We're going to Hampstead. Judo can wait, he thought, with mounting excitement. This is just too tempting to resist. Flintskin's driggling was very annoying, but Slippery Mavis was not called Slippery Mavis for nothing. She was cunning and clever, and as soon as she found out that paparazzi had ordered Flintskin to email the photograph to Minsky the Terrible, she decided to ruin their plan. While Flintskin was distracted, doing the Ratsy war dance on the desk, while the rest of the Ratsies danced with him, she slipped onto his chair and put her sticky claws on his keyboard. Licking her chops with glee, she sent the copy of the photograph to the Grand Bureau on Flintskin's computer. If those royal rabbits get their hands on the diamond, they'll give it back to the Queen, and that will make paparazzi very cross, she thought to herself cheerfully. So cross that he won't reward Flintskin after all. In fact, when he finds out that the email was sent to the Grand Bureau on Flintskin's computer, he might lop off his ear instead. She began to laugh. She laughed so loudly that her flabby belly wobbled like jelly. Flintskin glanced back at her, and his face darkened with concern. But it was too late. Mavis had already pressed send. Right. That is the end of chapter 7 for today. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you very soon. Take care, stay safe. Bye.